was mush. It was doing him more harm than good.
What course was he doing?
He was doing business and finance, and he didn't feel there was any benefit coming from it.
And what does he want? What is he doing with his life?
At 19, he's working with a company called EA Sports, one of their offshoots. He's doing gaming, and he's doing pretty well in sort of the whole sort of technology. It's hard to explain. There's a lot to it. I won't go into it on the radio, but it's all gaming based and
design, game design.
Online in competitions and make money from that.
Right, so kind of events organiser really, but online.
Correct, yeah. Correct. But you can do it. The thing is, from the age of 1, his mum lives abroad. She's in Singapore. And I've looked after him and run the business and run my home and looked after my vehicles and paid the taxes and done everything that you could possibly think of. And as he's grown, I've just said to him, don't have any of these light bulbs in your house because they give off carcinogenic feelings. Don't have Wi-Fi because it affects you. Don't have anything like Hive, all these smart meters, all these add-ons. I said to him, I didn't give you any vaccines, son, because for me, I don't believe in it. A lot of people say this or that, but I didn't believe in it. And he's calm. He's peaceful. He's a nightmare on the rugby pitch. He's absolutely wild as a man can be. But in life, he's peace, he's love, without any bad vibes, good to people, and you get goodness coming back.
Yeah, well, I certainly won't hate you, James, for what you said about your choice on vaccines. That's your choice to make. I mean, and it's not the conversation that I'm aiming to have this hour, but what you've clearly done is pay close attention to your son and given him lessons as you grow. Have you given him the right to disagree with you?
Yeah, I like it when he does. It's not a right, it's his God-given ability. He's God-given.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Some people squash it, don't they? Some people squash disagreement.
Yeah, but it's part of his development. He can flourish when he disagrees. He can't be held back and said, no, you can't disagree with me. I'm father.
Yeah. In your best Victorian father voice. Yeah.
Well, you can't. They've just got to be themselves, and you're there to support whatever happens to him, however he feels, whatever moods he's in. Just be there for him, however he grows. But I do believe nowadays there's so many other outside influences. Like, I only drink 2 beers on a Friday night. I won't drink through the week ever. Friday night, I have 2 beers, that's it, done. And he sees that.
Did you deliberately have quite a kind of this is what I want to model to my son, this is what I want to show him as he grows up?
I changed my life, Sheila.
Yeah.
I changed my life completely for him. I was a bit of a tearaway myself from the age of 20 up to 30. And come 30, as soon as I knew his mum was pregnant, she even said to me, what do you want to do? I'm like, what do you want to do? They're gifts. These are precious gifts. We're going to have the baby, whatever. No problem. And she did. And I was in the room when he was born. I held her hand. The moment he was born, I held onto her hand and held her tight when she was meant to push. Thursday morning, the 14th of October, 2014, at 10:55 on Thursday morning.
Well,
I held her hand. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, you remember better than Joe Biden certain dates, don't you?
Who's Joe Biden?
You don't know who Joe Biden is?
I'm only joking.
Okay, I thought you're not that much of a... I
can't believe that you didn't know that I didn't know who he was.
Well, you never know what people take an interest in. So you do know who he is. Well, listen, James, I'm glad you've got that close relationship with your son, and it sounds like, I do think some of the things you said are a bit out there, but that's your, that's for you to live with and work out. But you're obviously a dad who's paying close attention to his son and has raised him well. So thanks very much indeed for your call, James. Olan has called from Croydon. Hello, Olan.
Hello, Sheila. Thanks for having me. This is a very, very, very good topic. Talking about Russian pop. Yeah, and sorry.
What did you want to add?
But also, preparing them for the ability that, you know what, you've got to be ready. Be humble yourself. Learn something new. Pick it up as you learn things. Don't think you know it all. And I think the idea of some men that they know it all and they can do whatever they can.
That's a really good point, I think, because in some ways your child will tell you what they need, won't they, to a degree? Not always, but
exactly.
The child's character will dictate how you approach, basically. Yeah. Olan, thank you very much indeed, Olan, in Croydon. Sally says, thanks for the heads up on Ryan, Sheila. He's brilliant. That positivity has made my week. Thanks for everything you do. Well, thanks, Sally, and have a fab weekend. Ryan Hall, I'm telling you, if you want to be cheered up, if you've got sons who love football or daughters who love football, just seriously check him out. Ryan Hall, Instagram, YouTube, fab. That's it from me.
That's a ringing endorsement.
I have abandoned birds.
Is he the Evertonian chap?
Yes. You see him?
I have. He gets mobbed when he goes out.
Oh, and do you know what's really telling how respectful he is of the parents? So the kids will be up and the kids will all be saying, right, you know, love you. You know, I've got that shirt, I've got this hat, I love it. And take the picture, yeah. And he immediately says to the parents, is it okay for this to go up on TikTok? Do you allow them on TikTok? And then one little boy came up and he said to him, how do you feel? And he said, the little boy said, happy. And he's so scouse, isn't he? Happy. And he said, oh, that's great. He said, do you know why you're happy? And he goes, no. And he points to the boy's dad and he says, because of him. You're happy because of him.
That's fantastic.
And I thought this is the polar opposite of Andrew Tatering. Yeah.
I will try and get this in front of my child.
And Ryan Hall or his mates, if they're listening, I want Ryan to come on the programme. Come on, Ryan. You can do this. We can do this. I've got 4 Evertonian brothers, for God's sake. If that's not a qualification, I don't know what is.
Let's have a race to see who can get on first.
He's mine. As you've guessed, it's Lewis Goodall from 6, but that's Tom Swarbringer.
Sheila, thank you very much indeed. Have a great weekend. Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show at 4 o'clock.
All we want is a credible offer, and if we can take that to our members, we can cancel any strike action.
Yet another strike by junior doctors is planned for the end of February. Given the impact that this is having on waiting lists, should the government just pay them? Also,
the possibility of a major war in Europe has become greater.
As the head of the army talks about the possibility of conscription, Latvia has now brought it in for all men aged 18 to 27. And
how is the best case scenario, Joe Biden?
An elderly man with a poor memory who, despite willfully holding and sharing classified information, is too doddery to stand trial. Don't worry, he's only the President of the United States.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 4 o'clock, Prince Harry settled the rest of his phone hacking claim against the publisher of the Daily Mirror. Mirror Group Newspapers has agreed to pay extra damages to him. His lawyer, David Sherborne, has been reading a statement from the Duke outside London's High Court.
As the judge has said only this morning, we have uncovered and proved the shockingly dishonest way in which the Mirror acted for so many years and then sought to conceal the truth.
Junior doctors in England will strike for a further 5 days from February the 24th. The British Medical Association is calling for a 35% wage increase, which ministers have previously rejected. The government says it may be prepared to go further on pay offer. Police have confirmed that 2 dogs, which killed a 68-year-old woman in Essex at the weekend, were XL bullies. A ban on the breed came into force in England and Wales last week, but owners can keep them with a certificate. 2 children and a woman are in hospital after a suspected poisoning in East Sussex. Police were called to a home in Uckfield yesterday morning. A woman has been arrested. Officers say they're treating it as an isolated case. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered Israel's military to prepare for evacuating Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip ahead of an
with Ripple Energy. Climate action you can be proud of.
Rain and hill snow persisting in northern England and eastern Scotland tonight. Patchy cloud and showers elsewhere, a low of 1 degree. The rain and snow lingering from the north tomorrow. Some brighter spells in the south and a high of 11 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Tim Humphrey.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Tom Swarbrick.
Just gone 4. Hello, afternoon. Welcome to the show. Tom Swarbrick at Drive here on LBC. Hope you find you well this Friday afternoon. Coming up,
there's now over 1 million people down at Rafah. Now the problem there is when you're doing a military operation, how on earth in that crowded area are the IDF going to discriminate civilians from Hamas fighters?
Benjamin Netanyahu orders his military to draw up plans to evacuate civilians from southern Gaza ahead of a planned invasion. Read the details. Plus,
it's hard to imagine a worse week for Joe Biden, but another one begins on Monday. I'm Simon Marks. My American week is today at 10 to 6.
Tweet at LBC. Text 84850. Tom Swarbrick on LBC.
Very good afternoon to you. We'll get into the politics of this, I'm sure, because the politics are fraught and they are angry and they are difficult and they are, of course, important. But to be honest with you, my first thought when I read the prosecutor's report into whether Joe Biden held on to and shared classified materials, brackets, he did, close brackets, was just sadness. It's really sad to watch a man clearly in decline. You might have unfortunately had to see it for yourself with your grandparents or your parents or a partner, having to tell them that maybe they can't drive anymore or maybe they can't work anymore despite them really wanting to and really trying to, but they're just held back by their own physical abilities to carry out those tasks. Utterly hard. Chances are, though, your loved one probably isn't the President of the United States. I think there are quite a lot of people whose first instincts on hearing Joe Biden's memory failing is to laugh, or to demonise, or to score points. To be honest, I just feel really sorry for him. 3 times this week, Joe Biden has had some slips in recalling key details. We'll play you all 3. The first is Joe Biden confusing President Macron with former French leader Francois Mitterrand as he recalled a meeting with G7 leaders in June 2021.
Right after I was elected, I went to what they call a G7 meeting, all the NATO leaders. And it was in just south of England. And I sat down and I said, America's back. And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said,
Francois Mitterrand died in 1996. Then Joe Biden seemed to forget who it is that Qatar, Egypt, the US and Israel are negotiating with to achieve a ceasefire in that part of the world. What he calls opponents.
There is some movement, and I don't want to choose my words. There's some movement. There's been a response from there's been a response, the opposition, but yes, I'm sorry, from Hamas, but it seems to be a little over the top. We're not sure where it is. There's a continuing negotiation right now.
The word he was searching for there before he was prompted, as you heard, was Hamas. And then he confused the president of Mexico with the president of Egypt.
I think that, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian Israeli
President of Mexico is not Sisi. Those are just this week, and then last night a report by a special prosecutor looking at whether Joe Biden knowingly held material that was classified in unsecured locations and whether he shared some of that material dropped. The prosecutor found that Biden did have classified material in unsecure locations and did share that material, which I have to say in and of itself is pretty worrying. But there was no point in President Biden standing trial for this and being prosecuted for this because he was, quote, a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory who would in effect not be capable of standing trial. The report was by Special Counsel Robert Hur and said that during Biden's interview with him, his memory was worse. Quote, he did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended, and forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began. He did not remember, even within several years, when his son, Beau, died. And his memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. Among other things, he mistakenly said that he had a real difference of opinion with General Carl Eikenberry, when in fact Eikenberry was an ally who Mr. Biden cited approving. Now, I find that pretty heartbreaking. The poor man can't remember when his son died, or when he was vice president, according to this. Now, understandably, Joe Biden hasn't taken those comments well or lying down, not least because if they are true, it is politically incredibly damaging. So he pushed back.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm the president. I can put this country back on its feet, and I don't need his recommendation. It's totally out of
your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away.
Now, it's not a denial, is it? I mean, I can see what he's saying. Of course he's going to be upset about it, understandably, but it's not a denial that he forgot. I can see why he's cross, that this is all damaging. And I also know that I think anyone who has paid even a tiny amount of attention to American politics has presumably seen a noticeable decline in Biden's memory and ability to function at the pace that one might think a president of the United States might need to be able to function. It is perhaps the most demanding job on the planet, and we have an 81-year-old, very experienced, very well-meaning man who might be very, very good behind the scenes at a number of things, but running the country, being the figurehead for it. So I'm keen to talk to you, particularly if you have a vote in the US election this year, about what you make of the politics of all of this, whether you are concerned that Biden will struggle with the rigour of a campaign, let alone a second term. I'd also like to talk to you just about watching this decline. I think it is clearly a decline. And whether you have had to tell a loved one to stop or to step back or to seek help because they are unable or unwilling to recognise that they are just slowing down, that they are just getting older, that they are now in their twilight years. Because that is tough. It is tough for anyone, let alone a president. 03456060973. On the politics, I've got to be honest, I don't see how long the Democrats can stay with President Biden as a candidate, particularly when this campaign, unlike 2020, is going to demand much more of him physically. He's going to need to travel, he's going to need to do events, unlike 2020 when COVID meant he largely stayed in his home. But how and who breaks it to him? Don't know. Tara's in Lewisham on this. Tara.
Hi, Tom. Hi. I want to say thank you for bringing this a bit of empathy to this situation. I'm not American, so I don't debate. But I do have a father in declining years. And I think that it's helping to be put, people do forget things. As people do forget things. I mean, I'm forever forgetting my glasses. Yesterday I forgot the word for the colour green. I forgot it.
Do you know, Tara, my memory is terrible. I couldn't tell you. If you asked me what we did on the show on Monday, I'm sure I can tell you. Honestly. I think it might be the job.
Rewind, I can probably tell you, but I'm sure you did for
Tara. But you see your dad in this.
those of us who are lucky enough to still have both parents alive, yes, we see their decline. And I think it was a really nasty bite to say to him that he can remember when his son died. I think that was
unfair.
Really beyond the pale.
Right.
I'm not anybody else in American politics. Obviously, I know distinctions between Democrats and Republicans. I change politics, by the way, believe it or not. But I just think on a personal level, that is, I think these attacks have been below the belt. I think it's been a little bit nastier how it's been played out, including on LBC, to be frank. Having sort of just called for Hamid to go when Hamas called it the opposition, and how he forgot, he called
those are, unfortunately, Tara, those are the facts. I mean, he did that.
Well, those are the facts. But there is such a thing as kindness in this world on the take. And he is the president of the most, well, of the number one free state. And also, of course, we have to think, well, what on earth is the alternative? And so we have a kind, slightly doddly older man. And then we have someone, completely and utterly insane despot.
Well, to be honest, Tara, we have another slightly doddery old man running against him. It's remarkable.
Well, slightly younger.
Well, he's an old man. He is remarkably slightly younger than the 81-year-old Joe Biden. By the way, Trump is also, his memory is also not particularly brilliant, but I just think...
He's made the same mistakes too.
He has.
But they're not pointed out as much. And I just think, frankly, I mean, as I said, I'm very glad that you got everything into this conversation as you started out.
But is it empathetic? How empathetic is it to, if we agree that there is decline evident in his ability to recall, in his powers of his own memory, how empathetic is it to allow him to carry on?
The main reason that the focus has been brought on this, of course, is in relation to possible criminal activity. And so that's a whole other legal issue. And of course, the main point about that is that in America they don't have the separation of powers which we supposedly have here. So, I mean, it would be very easy to say, and I will say, okay, if you're not fit to be a witness, why are you fit to be president?
Yeah, and I think that's difficult, isn't it? If the report concludes you're not fit to stand trial because of your memory, but you're fit to go out there every day as the President of the United States for potentially another 4 years at the age of 81, it's very, very tricky. That's why, Tara, thank you, that's why I think it's important to start with just what I think is quite a sort of natural reaction to seeing someone struggle so much, so publicly, which is to say, are you all right? And I don't think he is. Do you? So if we agree that he isn't, what happens next? Tom Swarbrick on LBC 417.
LBC Travel, I'm Dave Goff. There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise. One lane is closed before junction 24 for Potter's Bar because a van has broken down. It is also slow on the M25 clockwise. There's a lane closed at junction 25 for Enfield on the exit slip road because of flooding. In Wandsworth Plain northbound is closed at Church Road. That's because of an accident, so there are delays. It is slow in Uxbridge. Oxford Road is partly blocked in both directions between Chapel Street and Harefield Road. That's because of an accident. There are delays in Dagenham. Beacon Tree Avenue northbound is closed from Longbridge Road to Silverway. That's because of an investigation. And on the trains, Chiltern Railways have delays of up to 20 minutes and some cancellations between Marylebone and High Wycombe. That's after there were some problems with the signals earlier.
LBC.
Sounds like someone's lowered prices with their Tesco Club card. Like Comfort 83 Wash Fabric Conditioner, now just £3.95, down from £4.75. With Tesco Club card, everyone can feel the lower prices. Tesco, every little helps.
Majority of larger stores ends 12th of March. Club card or app required.
Call Tom Swarbrick 0345 6060 973 LBC.
All the big names are here. Ooh, who's that?
time on that flower wall. QuickBooks can save you up to 8 hours a week, so you can bring your vision to life. That's how you business differently. Into its QuickBooks.
Share the love this Valentine's at Morrison's with a 24-pack of Ferrero Rocher for $5.99 with more card exclusives. That's more sharing your faves with your faves. More reasons to shop at Morrison's. Majority of stores and online, subject to availability. Without more card, £9.50. Ends 14th of Feb.
Want to add even more ooh la la to your February? The Citroën Van event is here from the 5th to the 29th, featuring the Bingo Van, Britain's best-selling small van. Plus, there's great offers with golden tickets, sale vouchers, a free 4-year aftercare package, and electric grants of £2,500 on the e-dispatch and e-Berlingo. Visit your local Citroën retailer or search Citroën Van event. Offers on selected LCV models across the range. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Ends February 29th, 2024. To verify, see citroen.co.uk/Berlingo van.
How can we make cancer research breakthroughs together? Every day we ideate, build, trial, learn, try again. We use virtual reality to understand tumours, revolutionise cancer diagnosis, and save countless lives. Set up a monthly donation to Cancer Research UK to help us outsmart cancer and keep us researching month in, month out. Visit cruk.org/monthly. Together, we are beating cancer.
Are you into worktops more than workouts? Kitchen islands more than tropical islands? Sounds like you've got a new kitchen on your mind. At Wix, we can design and install your dream kitchen. And now, there's up to 50% off appliances, worktops and installation when you buy a Wix bespoke kitchen. Plus, up to 4 years interest-free credit. Be house proud with Wix. Terms and qualifying spend apply. Wix is the credit broker. Credit provided by Navuna Personal Finance.
At Co-op, we know those everyday essentials are important. So now, our members will save more with member prices every day on things like bread, eggs, milk, broccoli and chicken. Sign up and save more at your local Co-op. Subject to availability in-store only, £1 joining fee. See coop.co.uk/member prices. Co-op group food stores only.
Tom Swarbrick on LBC.
Afternoon, 4:20 is the time. Tom Swarbrick on LBC. I think we can see a clear decline in Joe Biden's ability to recall pretty major events, either in his life or in the life of his nation, when it comes to remembering who the president of France is, who Hamas are, who the president of Egypt is. Even just this week, Joe Biden has struggled. He's an old man. He's 81 years old. This report that was done by a special prosecutor into whether or not Joe Biden willfully concealed classified documents and revealed them, which, by the way, he did, has quite a lot to say about Joe Biden's inability to remember well. Even, in one case, he did not remember within several years when his son, Beau, died. Now, Owen in France makes a good point. Tom, you need to mention the fact that Mr. Hur, the special counsel, Robert Hur, is a Republican, and you're absolutely right, he is. Mr. Hur, said that he was carrying out his investigation independently, but, we can all cock a snook at that suggestion. He did, though, make a distinction quite clearly between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who is also being assessed with criminal charges pending against him for not a dissimilar crime. Several material distinctions, though, between Trump's case and Mr. Biden's. Unlike the evidence involving Mr. Biden, the allegations set forth in the indictment of Mr. Trump, if proven, would present serious aggravating facts. Most notably, after being given multiple chances to return classified documents and avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents, but for many months he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it. Mr. Biden didn't do that. So you have a Republican there, in a sense, showing what Joe Biden did in opposition to what Trump did about the same kind of potential crime. And that's important. That's from a Republican. So yes, I accept that this is a Republican writing a report about a Democrat president and probably doesn't want to be nice to him, but there are parts of the report that do make it clear that Joe Biden is a very different man to Donald Trump when it comes to investigations of whether they held classified information in unsecure locations and shared it. But it, I'm afraid, doesn't explain or delegitimise the concerns that there are about Biden's health. Kenny's in Swindon. Kenny?
How you doing, Tom? I just want to make a point. It's quite frustrating when you're talking about him as being a poor man and being sympathetic about it. At the end of the day, he's the leader of the free world. He's in charge of so many lives
leads on to the question of his suitability to be president.
Well, I personally don't think it's sad being a person that is so powerful. It's just I can't find how it's sad.
Kenny, I'm not sad because he's the president of the United States. I think it's sad to watch a man clearly in cognitive decline here. I think that is sad to watch that happen. It's sad for anybody.
So if he's went on trial and they said that basically he's not fit to stand in a jury, why is he fit to be president? Why is he not just getting told, right, a doctor comes, right, you're not suitable to work, why is someone else not coming in?
Kenny, I think that is a perfectly reasonable question. It doesn't doesn't mean that you can't think that there is something deeply sad about that, about watching someone decline like this.
Yeah, but I'm not. Right, I drive a fuel tanker. If I went into work the next day and I am not able to drive safely, I would be told, right, that's it, you can't come to work, and that's you're going home. So why is this not happening?
Do you not think the person that delivered that information, whether it's your boss or a loved one, so I don't know if your family, Kenny, but someone says to you, listen, dad or son or whatever, your driving is going downhill, your health is deteriorating, I really don't think you can keep this up anymore, I think you've got to stop. And you say, I don't want to work, what am I going to do? I've done this all my life, I need to earn money. What do you mean by driving? I'm really sorry, Dad, you're losing your eyesight, you're not reacting quickly enough, you're going to have to stop. That's sad, that's really difficult.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're making it personal. The thing is, he's the leader of the free world. He's in charge of the Red Bull. You know, it's the way you're talking about him. You're talking about him as if he's just a simple old man in an old folks' home, or he's about to go to an old folks' home. This guy is still in charge now, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Kenny, I don't disagree with you. I just think it's whoever you are, whether you drive a truck or whether you're president of the United States, it is sad watching either of those two people cognitively, mentally declining.
Yeah, well, I think the question needs to be asked over the next few hours. This guy needs to go.
I agree with you. That is absolutely the question we're asking. In part, is his mental decline sufficient enough, large enough? Is his health deteriorating enough to make you think he needs to go? And I'm very keen to hear from people who have a stake in this, i.e. they have a vote in it, about what they make of it. But if I can't put aside the fact that regardless of his politics, actually, regardless of whether or not he is suitable for the job anymore, I think it is just really sad to watch people age to a point where their health is deteriorating so visibly and I think possibly quite quickly that they can't work anymore, whether it's driving a truck or being president. Bruce is the first time caller in Chessington. Bruce.
Hi, thanks. I just want to say two things. I am originally from the United States, and I still have a vote in presidential elections, but I am a British citizen, so I can vote here. I've been living here since 1973. Two things I'd like to say, Tom, and I've been enjoying the discussion. The implication of saying Trump is younger than Biden is that he would therefore be better able to do the job, and I agree with what you were saying a few minutes ago, that being the president, of course, is an extremely challenging job. But when Trump was actually president, it is known that most days he spent several hours simply watching television, with a view to seeing how he was being represented on television. He wasn't actually doing a lot of work. And the second thing I want to say is that in terms of it, as I said, I've been living here for a long time. We do not always have American presidents who are really excellent at understanding foreign affairs, but Joe Biden is. I agree. And if you take the current example of Israel-Gaza, that incredibly complicated situation, and he and Antony Blinken have at least been able to make and careful decisions each day since that crisis erupted.
Well, that's a completely reasonable point. You you have the experience of a man who's been a senator since his, I think, late 20s, compared to a guy who's apparently run a business. I mean, what kind of business it was, in a way that might have well attracted the attention of lawyers and justices, because of the manner in which he won it. And those two are going to compete to be the next president of the United States.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to make those.
Well, you made the point about Trump.
Mainly about the fact that Trump spent most of his time as a president actually just sitting watching television.
Well, I have to say, Bruce, the insight I have on that is, having listened to President Trump speak to the then UK Prime Minister in phone calls and meetings behind the scenes, it was bizarre. I mean, the Trump you saw on the television was the same Trump that would be speaking on the phone to Theresa May, you know, about all kinds of things. There was one phone call, it was reported that there was a phone call in which Donald Trump spoke for almost the entirety of the call to ask her about the film The Darkest Hour, starring the thing about Winston Churchill. He literally was just asking about why Winston Churchill got booted out of office, why did the British public apparently hate him so much, even even after he won the war for us. That was the substance of the phone call between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
And his understanding, going back, during his presidency, of Ukraine, I mean, that's something I happen to know a lot about, and his profound ignorance about the situation in Ukraine going back years. All his concern was, to do with Biden's son who'd been working there, and that was the sole limit of his interest in Ukraine.
Possibly. I think his interest has had to increase, not that he... he keeps saying, doesn't he, that were he to have been president in 2020, then this whole thing wouldn't have happened, which is just such a bizarre thing to say. Bruce, listen, appreciate it. Thank you. 0345 6060 973. Do you think President Biden should continue, despite what I think are pretty clear and obvious signs of his mental health, his ability to recall, deteriorating? In a few moments' time, we think we're going to hear more from the Met Police about the